We have just launched the process of the constitution for the East African Confederation. Before the drafting, we have a stakeholder engagement, public participation. And we believe Kenya, like all the other East African countries, will stand to benefit from this political confederation. There are very many opportunities in the whole of the integration process. We have seen from the customs union, the common market, the proposed monetary union, and the ultimate federation, that there will be opportunities for the residents of the EAC. There will be integrated security and political integration. And like we have said, we are all one people, one destiny, and the opportunities will be for the betterment of the people of the East African community. And that's why we would like the Kenya citizens to come up and have their voice heard, so that the constitution for the confederation that is finally drafted takes into account their views, their opinions, and that the constitution will be fit for purpose and beneficial to the citizens of Kenya. Thank you.
Maybe how long can we wait to see this fruit?
We have the chair of the experts, the committee of experts. Maybe they can indicate the timeline, but we do know that this is a process that involves consultations in all the East Africa community partners. Kenya is the third, and so we still have 3 more countries. In my estimation, maybe the stakeholder engagement could be within the 1 year, then the other processes will follow, but the committee chair may have better feel of the timelines.
Maybe before the committee chair, you give us, are we going to see a common currency using within the East African community?
Under the East Africa Monetary Union, and the protocol is already in place, the consultations by the central bank governors of the East Africa communities have set a target date of 2031 for a possible common currency. And so work is ongoing.
And my last question, there's other countries which have been not much concerned about the effort you are putting, like Tanzania has been trying to not welcoming this issue broadly. Maybe what's your intake on the same, and maybe what measures are you going to put in making sure that all the EAC countries will embrace this move?
I think contrary to that perception, my experience for the 6 months I've been in this role, I have seen all partner states actively participate in this process. I cannot single out any state that I feel is not participating well. In fact, the country you have mentioned has been on the forefront. I have seen everyone working very hard, and I believe the commitment that I have noticed so far will persist to the end of the process, and we are going to see deeper integration from all and cooperation from all the partner states.
And just for avoidance of doubt, as CS puts it, after Kenya it will be Tanzania, where we shall be doing these consultations. So that is commitment. We have experts who are here from Tanzania. So Tanzania is a full member, and in fact is one of the founding members of the East African community. And therefore they are the ones who are hosting even the secretariat, where I'm the Secretary General. And I can assure you Tanzania is very committed to the process. And secondly, I want to assure you that indeed these consultations is to make sure that they involve the people, the citizens of East Africa. East African community is a people-centered, integration process. So in the wisdom of the heads of states and having taken the best experts, the likes of Amos Wako, these are the people who are engaging the people directly to understand and finally come up with a document that is acceptable to all citizens of East Africa. So this is a way of saying we don't keep it at the bureaucracy level, but keep it to the people so that people participate in the process of ensuring that they are part and parcel of defining what community they want of East African community.
Okay, Bwana FJ, maybe on the same note, security plays a key role in pushing this agenda forward. But we have seen there is a lot of insecurity in DRC. Maybe first, you can comment on the issue of civilians being killed in DRC, and also we have seen what is the future role of East Africa Regional Force, considering that their mandate has not been extended.
You see, the DRC joined the East African community last year as the 7th partner state of the EAC. And that is to say that the mood now in the region is to have a stronger regional economic bloc, having as many countries. Looking at the big players in the world, America is about people, Russia is people, China is people, India is people. So we want to have a very strong regional economic bloc that can compete in the global arena with the rest. And therefore, DRC having joined, in the wisdom of the head of state, they say, would want to stabilize the Eastern DRC, just like any other part of East Africa. And therefore, they have put mechanisms in place to ensure that Eastern DRC is stabilized and we restore peace and security in that part of East Africa. And we are confident and very comfortable that is already happening. In fact, we have an East African regional force that is already in DRC that is trying to work with the rest, with MONUSCO and other players, to restore peace in Eastern DRC. So we are happy that the progress is, all is going on well, and we are already seeing a good progress because some of the decisions that were made by the heads of state, one was the cessation of hostilities and ceasefire, which we have already achieved. Secondly, the withdrawal of some of the rebel groups in some of the areas, that has already been achieved. And now we are discussing to see how to have the citizens go back to the places that were occupied by the rebels. So I would say all is going on well, and we are happy that in the hands of the heads of states, that issues could be here, there, but we are trying to streamline them to make sure that all goes on well. Thank you.
Thank you.
In this process, there was an idea that was being floated by the last conference for TVETs and universities to have a uniform curriculum within the EAC, so that to embrace, if there's a teacher from this country who can work in Tanzania fairly, how best can this process assist what the professionals in the education sector are doing?
Yes, I know the Honorable Permanent Secretary could talk about it, but when you come to harmonization, the common market protocol, which is the second pillar of regional integration, talks about movement of people, movement of services, capital, and others. And therefore, when we talk of harmonizing services and even qualifications, that is to give confidence that if you are qualified accountant or lawyer in Kenya, you can go and practice in any other partner states of the EAC. Already we must appreciate that we've made some progress. Today, as you travel to Uganda, you don't need a passport, you need a national ID. If you go to Rwanda, you need a national ID, you don't need a passport. And that is going to happen in all the partner states of the EAC. But when we come now to services, already we are having some consultations with all the professions to ensure that all is harmonized, and the Council of Ministers reports, looking at them on how we are making. So we must confess that indeed, as we listen to TVETs and other experts in the education sector, we are actually trying to involve all the stakeholders, the partner states, so that we can allow professionals move freely and offer their services within the region. So we are making good progress.